Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to my Plus Size Grandma reality show podcast with Miss Coco Bowles. I hope that y'all have been going over to YouTube, checking me out over there. I also hope that you're doing good on this blessed morning. But y'all, I had some stuff come to my mind. Ugh. I was like, So y'all go ahead and share this out with your friends and whoever, and share it, like it, subscribe. I'm still a little sleepy. I had to get up. I had to get up at 6:30 this morning and get the trash out. Okay, go ahead and share, y'all. I'm sharing too, and I'm talking about today being a dominant female. Yep, so I'm sharing this, y'all. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. A dominant personality it's good in some ways, okay? When you learn how to use it right, it's good. And I know a lot of people just, sometimes people just don't even realize that they have stuff going on. But I realized that I was a dominant female. And when I say dominant, I mean actually, I don't think I've ever denied being a dominant female. I don't think I've ever denied that. I think what happened is because I was in a relationship for so long that I just never really felt like I had to acknowledge it or anything. But I've always been dominant in my relationships. I've always taken lead in any relationship that I've been in. And as a matter of fact, I've just always been a dominant person. Like, I like what I like and I want what I want. And that... Since being saved, I realized it just wasn't right. It wasn't working out for me. But the problem is, it is a part of my personality, okay? So it is a part of my personality. And what would end up happening is, I noticed these things about myself, that I would start out talking to guys, and I would be charming and loving, and I really do mean it. But then, once we really get to talking, it's like a switch comes on. And I go into this defensive mode. And that's when my dominant side kicks in. And I think it's part of anxiety and stuff. Just because that's how I had to defend myself when I was growing up. Was by having a dominant personality. And... letting people outspeak me and outdo me was not part of my forecast. Like, if that happened, I wouldn't let it happen. So, growing up, I was always dominant. And if I didn't think I could succeed, and not just succeed, but be outstanding in what I do, I wouldn't do it at all. I had black and white thinking. I was telling my daughter the other day, I said, girl, I used to have some black and white thinking, like it was either got to be this way or it's not going to be, at all and stuff. So it grew up in me, and it's, like I said, it's part of my personality. It came on when I was younger to help survive. It was part of my self-made coping skills to survive. You don't know it at that time that you're creating a coping skill for yourself, and it becomes part of your personality. And so that's what it was. So I stayed in trouble a lot because I couldn't get things my way. And if things were not my way, I didn't want it at all. Just a big old pouting baby. I just pouted. A matter of fact, I used to pout so much about getting things done the way I wanted it done that my parents, they would pick on me. They'd be like, "You always pouting. You put them lips in and stuff like that." I think what made me remember this, though, I was playing the guitar and I was looking. I said, "Dang, look at my lips." That's what made me kind of remember it. But I realize now, looking back, that dominant trait that I've been living off of, it never left me. I still have it. It's still in me, and it's something that not only I have, but it's generational because my mom had it. She got a dominant personality. I mean, she didn't really give my dad the opportunity to be a man. I mean, he had opportunity to be a man, but you could tell that he was more submissive to her than she was to him. She wasn't submissive to him at all. I mean, whatever she said, that's just how I had to roll, and he knew that. So I've been doing some online dating, and this is what brought this about, because I've been doing some online dating. Y'all, I'm just heating up some macaroni and cheese here. And I realized that I'm running into guys who are more dominant over the female. Like, I'm running into man-mans, like real men. Real men, real man-mans. I'm running into them, and it's like I try to calm it down, but it's like I still want to take charge. And so what ended up happening was I got a little dating coach, right? Got a little dating coach that I've been watching on YouTube, and I have been learning so much that I did not know. I can't believe that I was doing Relationship 411 and did not know some of this stuff that I'm learning now. And that's when I was like, God, my view of how relationships are supposed to work is flawed. It's very flawed. And it explains now why, like, the men I was with, why I chose bad men, and also chose men that would submit to me in certain kind of ways, Like, they were submitting to me, and it was long term. But in return, I was doing, stuff for them too, in return. And when I say about that, maybe it was shelter or food or something, just little things like that. But still, I was the dominant one over the household, over the finances, over everything. And so when I became single, that independency of me, it never left. Because the whole time I was in relationships, I'm going to tell you, it was like I was in a detached relationship. It was like I was in a relationship, but I was not of the relationship. If that makes sense. I was in it, but I was not of it. And I was like detached from actual some things. Because I learned this from my mom. This is how I saw my mom do it. And, she influenced me heavily on that. Heavy. And so I seen her do it. That's how I did it. I was not emotionally available, and I'm just not realizing this stuff, y'all, for real. I'm just not realizing it. Because, like I said last night, I was talking to a guy, and I was like, yeah, we gonna get along just fine. But then I realized, I said, wait a minute, what am I doing? I got to do what the coach said do. I got to scale back. Because I'm the type of person, I would throw it out there on you. Because I just don't like beating around the bush. I don't like the surprises and stuff like that. I'm like, either you is or you isn't, And so what ends up happening is the guy's talking really good. Really good. I enjoyed talking to him last night. But it was the hardest trying to keep my mouth shut. That was the hardest thing ever. So in other words, every guy that I've ever talked to, they was a certain way. They was. I never liked men that had too strong of a personality. And this is where I'm running into trouble at. When it comes down to having a good man in my life and a stable relationship, because I didn't want no stable man, and I'm just not realizing this. I wanted a man that was weak and somebody I could tell what to do and basically control. Basically control, y'all. I'm not gonna, beat around the bush with that. But that's basically what it was. And I thought that was normal for a lot of people. I really did. In my eyes, I thought it was normal until I got saved and started learning about witchcraft and all that stuff, and learning about how people try to control people and, how much damage it can do to a person. But that was me, though. I just always wanted to control everything that was coming in and out the house. I mean, I had one of my exes, he told his family, he said, man, y'all just don't know her. She a different person when nobody ain't around. And I used to say, well, you telling a lie. But he wasn't lying. I was different. When nobody was around, I had to have things a certain way. And y'all, I'm sorry, I'm eating macaroni too. And if he did something for somebody without permission, he called it. Yep. He caught it really bad to the point where I would kick him out of my house. I mean, it was bad. So I'm just looking within now. I'm looking within at some of the things I was doing. At the time, I didn't know what stuff like dominant female and all that was. But I'm older now. And what made me pay attention to it was, it's thick and it's twisted now that I think about it. I started paying attention to it in October 2020. I met a guy online. And as I was talking to him, he was like, do you hear what you're saying? I was like, what? What am I saying? He was like, you like people to be in pain and torture and stuff? And I was like, no. But when he started telling me what I was saying and I got thinking about it, I was like, oh my God. That was not God-like at all. But I want to encourage y'all that are listening. We don't really know everything about ourselves. We know what we had to do to survive. But as God continues to live in our life, He continues to reveal things to us. And that's why where I'm at now is at a revealing stage. I just noticed, though, that I wouldn't go for the more guys that looked good and the more guys, like in my head, I just felt like if he didn't like a big girl, then it was no use in me trying to talk to him or anything. And so a lot of times I would go for the weaker males. The weaker males so that I could have that control over them. But last night was different. I finally decided to let a man be a man. And that's something we hear a lot, is let a man be a man. And you will not, as a woman, you will not know what that means until you have really insulted their manhood. Because I can tell you, the guys that I dated, I insulted their manhood. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and sexually. I was detached. I was in those relationships, but they knew that they didn't really have my heart like that. I mean, that was long-term psychological abuse for both of us. They was abusing me emotionally and verbally, and I was doing it right back to them. But at the end of the day, I was the head person in charge. Whatever I said, that's what had to go. If I didn't say your friends can't come here, your friends can't come here. You know, whatever I said, I was the boss over everything. And I ran it like a company. I ran my relationship like a freaking company. I sure did. And I wanted things done a certain way. Like, all the men I had, I ain't never had to clean up and stuff because that was their job. They had to clean up. They would have to clean up behind me and stuff and behind my kids. And it was just a lot of stuff. Y'all, I'm almost done chewing. I had to go ahead and eat something though. Hold up. Okay, I was trying to cut it off so y'all wouldn't hear me smacking, but you know, it is what it is. But last night talking shit, man, it just made me realize that I had been dating weak men because that's what I chose was weak men. That's what I preferred was a man who didn't have a mind of his own. A man that needed to be told what to do and how to do it and when to do it. And that's because it was easier for me to take control. It was just easier to control them like that. And that's a sickening thing, though. This cake is so good. Cake for breakfast. But I see it now, though. I be listening at women brag about being these strong females and independent and y'all give me a second. I'm getting stuff here. They be bragging about being these alpha females and stuff. But that's good if that's what a man like. If that's what a man want, yeah, that's good. Because at the end of the day, they gonna get them. It's something about it they like. They like stuff like that. Every man I left, they want to come back. Because that bond, and I call it a trauma bond. I think it was a trauma bond because it wasn't like I was being good to him. I really wasn't. Y'all, I am so sorry, but I am hungry this morning. But I also want to talk, so I'm here with food and talk. Okay, I think I'm done with that, though. Whew. My granddaughter, she baked me a yellow cake with some chocolate icing the other day. That's the last of it. Yeah. Okay. Now that the food is going aside, let me get in there. Okay, so long story short, what I found out is that I have a dominant personality. Like, and it switches on and off. On and off. Like, when I'm home, I'm laid back, I'm cool, I'm chill when I'm by myself. But when I'm around others, that's when that personality comes on. And I notice that, you know, I want to be in control of the conversation, in control of, you know, it's just, I just want things to flow the way I want it to flow. And I didn't realize that it was that. I didn't realize how bad it was until last night. I was talking to this guy, and he was just, like, cool, funny, and I enjoyed talking to him so much. But my relationship coach said, okay, so here's a tip for y'all. Those of you that, you know you got these dominant personalities. You know you're independent because that's how you had to survive. You know, that was part of our surviving, was to become dominant in the areas, in certain areas, and especially in relationship and affection. And so the relationship coach said that if you want to know what a man is saying, then you just need to sit down, be quiet, and listen. I was like, wow, yeah, I never done that. I've always overtalked people. I've overtalked guys that were trying to get up with me. It's almost like I was sabotaging myself, trying to beat them to the punch, to make it seem like I know. Sometimes you can get this I know attitude. And that's kind of how it was. Like, if I could know what they were getting ready to say, but do I need to say it for them? And so I'm having to learn this stuff over at 45, and the stuff I'm learning now is working so much better for me, because I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do what he said do. I'm going to sit back and let him take control of the conversation. Now, it's not that you're giving your voice away. It's that you're letting somebody else in. You're hearing about somebody else and who they are. And as they keep saying, it's like you're doing an interview for a job. And you want to give it your best, but you don't want to, try to take control and act like you the boss. Because it's not a boss position. It's a position that comes from the heart and love and affection and stuff. And so I'm letting this guy talk. And when we first started, I kept over talking him. And he'd be like, okay, go ahead. You go ahead. I'd be like, no, you go ahead. But I was over talking him and stuff. And so that's when it came up in me. Let me do what the coach said, the relationship coach said. Because, see, sometimes we need coaching through stuff. Let the teachers come in and teach us what we need to learn, okay? And that's a topic that I taught on about 2 weeks ago maybe. But I taught on that we need to let somebody help us, because we don't know everything. And so these relationship coaches, they've been helping me. And I sat back and I let him talk. And when I let him talk, the conversation just flowed. You hear me? It flowed. It wasn't a forced conversation or anything. It was one of the sweetest conversations that I've had in a long time. Yup. It was so sweet, I can't let it go to my head. But it was the sweetest conversation I've had in a long time. It wasn't about no sex or anything like that. Because y'all know when you're doing online dating or anything, that's the first thing that, guys want to play with is your mind in that area. But I usually, just dump them, because I don't need you playing my mind in that area. Because I already know what I can bring to the table, and I already know what's not coming to the table. Okay? Some things just ain't coming to the table. And that's one thing that ain't. Because I don't like dealing with emotions like that. I don't like dealing with emotions, so why would I want to, have sex and stuff and get all these emotions flowing? Okay, back to what I was saying. But I humbled myself down and I got quiet and I heard him. And I thought that was the most beautiful, liberating thing ever, was to ask. For the first time I heard a man. And not even a man I know, but I heard him. I heard what he was saying. He was saying some real stuff. And it let me know, a little bit about, some of the things he had been through with dating and stuff. And I thought, wow, this is awesome. This is better than me trying to jump in there like I know what he's fitting to say, or trying to be a mind reader or predict things, Just imagine how much anxiety I eliminated by shutting up, by just shutting my mouth and listening. And when it was my turn to speak, he let me speak. He didn't interrupt me or anything. I think he found me funny because we laughed a lot. I have a great sense of humor, I think. And when I get wound up into my talking, it's like, I'm learning right along with everybody else. When I get up into my talking and I'm really talking to somebody that I like to talk to, it's like it does flow. And it is a lot easier to be myself and not have to put on that defense mode. Because, I have to learn how to stay out of survival mode and defense mode just as much as anybody else does. I mean, because it's so easy to jump to conclusion because of things that we've already been through in our life. And so being dominant is something that I can only say I'm proud of it in certain areas of my life because it did save me. Having that personality like that, it did save me. But then in other areas of my life, it destroyed relationships. I'm talking about family relationships, even the potential to have a relationship with a good man. It destroyed that because I was so used to just doing and taking care of me that there was no room for I or family. I mean, no room for we or family. And so I'm learning how to come up out of that. It was even like that. I'm going to tell y'all, when I was having sex back in the days, I was the dominant partner. Like, if I did not get things done my way, it was just, pretty much, what's the need me laying down here messing up my body for? That's the way I looked at it. Y'all, when I tell y'all, my way of thinking was so crazy. It was so crazy. Like, I'm like, who was I? When I look back over it now, because when I would get ready to have sex and stuff, I had to go through this whole ritual stuff that I have to do, like, before I even get in the mood to do that. And it was sad. It's sad now that I think about it because, instead of sex being a good thing, it was not good to me. That's why I didn't like having it. It wasn't good to me because guys couldn't fulfill my desires. They didn't know what I like have done. And so it just didn't work out because I would become dominant. And then once I see that, they just wasn't obeying or doing it the right way, I want things done a certain way, I'd be like, just get up. You wasting my time. Insult them like that. So that probably explains why they went out and started cheating, because I was very good at insulting them and making fun of, their sexual nature. I was very good at that. And it did come to the point where it was so bad to me. And cause I just like things done a certain way. And at that time I was very controlling in it. And when they did not do what I wanted them to do, punishment was, we're not going to do nothing at all then. You don't want to do it the way I want to do it? Nothing at all. I made that guy wait 7 years and I still didn't give him none. I ended up leaving him. Yup. I made another one wait 5 years because I didn't have to have it. I didn't have to have it, I didn't have to have sex. Because I feel like this, if I'm going to have it, it's got to be done, at least where it's pleasurable, where I can enjoy it. I don't want somebody laying on me and I can't even enjoy it. That was my mindset back then. I'm not talking about now, y'all, because I'm not doing anything now, but I'm talking about back then when I was, in the relationships, which kind of reminds me of situationships. But I was not, they didn't do things my way. I just didn't, I wasn't going to have it. I wasn't finna deal with them. I was like, you're a grown man. You all know what to do. Or at least be able to listen to what I'm telling you. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I like. I'm telling you what you need to do. Because if you don't do it, then nothing's going to happen here. Many a days, walked out of the bedroom, nothing happened. Because I didn't have things done my way. Ooh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just crushing this water bottle all in y'all ear and stuff. But being dominant, a lot of people be bragging about that, but that's nothing to brag about. God give us dominion over this earth, over the fowls, the foals, and all that stuff. But He didn't give us the right to try and control others. And I think that's when I realized that a majority of anger came in me, like rage. I used to have rage, like I would have these fits, like these fits I would have, and I don't even know why I'm remembering this stuff, but the fits I would have, I would throw stuff, like I would have full out grown up tantrums, act just like a child, foolishness mess, sitting up there in a relationship acting foolish like that. I would throw stuff. I would just like if he would say something that I didn't like, just pop off at the hand. Like I had no control of it and didn't know what was going on with me. I wasn't raised spoiled, but I had to survive, and so there's a difference from you being forced to survive versus now you're safe and what you did back then you can't do now. And so that's why I'm just trying to teach myself better now. I'm trying to let these coaches help me, these relationship coaches help me, because they do be having some good points. No, I ain't paying nobody to do it because there's just too many YouTube videos out there. And this one YouTube video for women 40 and over, y'all, I cannot just do it with the regular things no more. I have to, hit the sites that are for women 40 and older because I need the maturity level of where I'm at. And now how I am, I'm still like I like what I like. But now I'm a little more open-minded though. Like I'm willing to see what the other person is suggesting now. And it's just I'm willing to see what they have to offer now. And so I'm willing to sit back, be quiet, do my part, just realize that they are a person too, and that they have feelings too. But sometimes, y'all, I had to catch myself because I be done jump from 0 to 100. And I tell you, this is a battle every day that we have to battle with flesh. And I get so tired of people making it seem like it's the easiest thing to do when, yes, my heart is for God, but He did not say that we would not have these tests and trials and tribulations. And these tests come, and they come frequently. It's not like they come and then go away for a year or two and then come back. Some of these tests are back to back, and that's what I notice is that I get them back to back sometimes. But So I know too, I was talking to another guy, and listen, y'all, when you're online dating, yeah, you're going to talk to a lot of different people. And so don't let people make you feel like you are being a hoe or anything like that, because that's not being a hoe. That's, it's just like the coach was saying, you're doing an interview. You're interviewing people to see if they are a potential match for you, to see if y'all got what it takes or to grow and grow into love and help each other. Help each other survive this cruel world, or y'all compatible or anything. So it's going to take, you got to go through some bad apples to get to a good one. And I realized that I did have a fear of that. I had a fear of going through the bad apples because of what society already says about women, saying that they're hoes and stuff. And if you're saved, you shouldn't be out here, dating and talking any kind of way. But then I have God that has given me this confidence and says, get out here and be you. And when I'm being myself, that means that I'm free. I'm free to talk, and I'm not out here I'm out here dating with purpose, okay? First of all, I want to be a wife. Not a wife for 2 years, 3 years. I want to be a long-term wife. That's what I want to be. I want to be a wife. I want the wife responsibilities and what all come with it. And I want my husband to have, know his role. And when I say role, we don't know what we're going to have to do for one another, because we don't know the future like that. We know who holds the future, but we don't know the future. So, we just got to do what we got to do to see each other through. And so when I hear people, calling women out their name like hoes and stuff because they dating now, I dating these guys online. Now, I understand if you're going out having sex with every guy that you meet online, then yeah, you got a problem. You could be a hoe. But if you're just talking to guys, getting to know them, and there's no physical action going on, then, you might be pretty straight. But you got to be careful that the emotional does not get stopped up and congested with a whole bunch of hogwash, okay? So, having said all that, being a dominant woman is not beneficial to me when I'm with a man. Not a man boy, but a man. When I'm with an actual man who knows what it takes to provide and protect this woman, who knows what it takes to have love and affection, to take time with her. Y'all, that is actually Scam Likely. And if you did hear that ringtone, by the way, that is my song playing. But yeah, I like the fact that I can be a grown woman and I can speak openly about things that concern me, things that I may go through, and y'all, give me just a second. Just a moment. Let me get me a bottle of water. I like that fact that I can be open, because it's a lot of people that are not open about who they really are and stuff, and this is why they keep running into same mistakes and stuff. Now, when God delivered me from things, He delivered me from a lot, and a lot of those things I have not went back to, but it's God's timing that He shows us things that we can handle in our now season. And I think now He's got me seeing this problem here that I have, which is it is a control thing. It is a control thing, because anxiety, first of all, a person who has anxiety, what are they trying to do? They're trying to control, everything that's going on around them. They want things to go perfectly so they don't have to fear, so they don't have to be scared. And so I got rid of a lot of fears, but you never know what's deep inside of you until you start praying to God, asking Him to purge this stuff out of you. So this is what has came up in me, in my life, right now where I'm at, is that I have an issue. And that issue is trying to control men. And it was controlling men. It was telling them what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Like, I remember being here and, I would tell my boyfriend, do something for me, and he had to do it a certain way. If he didn't do it a certain way, I would verbally abuse him. So, and we always talk about what somebody else doing, but we never look on the inside and see what we doing. And now I'm able to look within. Before, I had this hard exterior. I could not look within. I didn't see nothing wrong with what I was doing and saying. I thought everything I was doing and saying was right. In my mind, it was a way that seemed right to me, and that was it. Was to make sure that I was taking care of my home. I call myself actually trying to provide and protect my home from the guy who was supposed to be providing and protecting my home. I mean, it's crazy, but that's how it worked. And it was miserable. So I don't want to go back through that no more. I don't know, but this weather been funny and the air been so dry and stuff. So I don't want to go back through that anymore. The relationships in the bedroom, me cutting guys off just because, things weren't going the way I wanted. I insulted them guys. I was like, y'all ain't hitting on nothing. Like, I'm not even finna waste my time. What, you want me to lay down there for what? If I ain't finna get pleased, ain't no need me laying down there. That's the mindset that I had. And that's exactly how I would talk to them like that. I wasn't sugarcoating nothing. I remember one lady said, that ain't normal for you to be like that. I said, yes, it is. If I'm not going to enjoy it, why do I have to put up with, just to me, it would be feeling like a random guy on top of me just humping me. That's what it would feel like to me. And I'm going to tell you, too, when I think about that, when I said that, something came to my mind. And that could be because when I was raped and molested, okay, disclaimer, I'm finna go into something deep right quick. So if you can't take anything about rape and sexual assault and stuff, you might need to get off, okay? And this is for adults 18 and over, by the way. Give you a second to cut off and get out the room. Okay, so I figured too that I may be like that because I did lose my control. And I did feel like I didn't have no control. So I had to grow up I had to grow up now controlling everything that I done. If I didn't have no control over it, it was just a disaster to me. Because when I was raped and molested, I couldn't control those things. I couldn't stop those things from happening to me. And so when I got older, at some point, I made a promise to myself. I think I was like 13 or something. I made a promise to myself that no man will hurt me like that again. And of course, that promise, I wasn't able to keep that promise. Because, I didn't have control over people. And I ended up getting raped again. And I ended up getting sexually assaulted and a few times. And so I didn't have no control over that. So finally, when I started getting some gain in my life, I had to make sure I had control over it. So I controlled everything in the bedroom, everything in the house. I mean, literally, a guy to be with me was really setting himself up for torture right along with me. Oh, I gotta cut this heat off. Hot flashes. Might be why my nose is congested. Yeah, because to be with me, they had to have low self-esteem. They had to be used to being hurt and knocked down or something. Had to be. And they all try to come back, but I don't do no comebacks. I don't do no comeback. If I get rid of you, I ain't want you back. But I was like that. I was controlling like that because I didn't do it. I did it out of fear. And I didn't realize all of this till now. That I lived a life, I was fearful. I was scared to death. I mean, really, literally dying. I was scared of what would go on. Whew. Bright and early orange juice show is good. But I was scared of the bedroom. I was scared to go in there and have sex with guys because of what had happened to me. And so I felt the need that I needed to control how things would go. And so when a person like me, I'm very tender and sensitive. Like, it's certain areas I could not be touched on. And so if they touched me in that area, it would trigger me. But see, I didn't know what triggers and stuff was back then. I would just, pop them on the hand or, move the hand off of me, whatever. And they, I don't know, some kind of twisted way, they thought that was turning them on. I guess they thought it was turning them on, but I was serious. I didn't want to be touched or anything like that. I didn't like hugs back then. I didn't like kisses back then. None of that stuff. And so it could only happen if I authorized it. Which left this man, like, well, what can I do? If you're going to do it all by yourself, I mean, what do you need me for? That's kind of how it was. So I was taking charge of everything. And then, not to mention, when you go back to confessions, like if y'all ever find confessions on here, I don't know what episode it is, because it's like over 500 episodes on here. But in the confessions, that's what I was doing. I think I went into some type of mania. And after I came out of my last relationship, that 15-year relationship, it was like I couldn't sit still. I couldn't stay at home. I guess I was just hurt so bad that I was just running off of my emotions. I lost it, really. I really did. And I was just running off of anything to keep me from feeling what I was really going through. And so to keep myself from feeling what I was really going through, how I was controlling it was by dating multiple guys, going out, having sex with multiple guys, and then, I just kept going. I couldn't even stick with one man. I mean, really, I couldn't, because stuff was hurting so bad. Like, I didn't want to feel anything. I didn't want to be reminded of anything. So I wanted to make as many memories as I could, so I wouldn't have to deal with those memories. And so that's how I was doing it. I mean, I was just... But like I said, things had to be done a certain way. It was only certain guys that I would choose to be around and to be with. And if y'all go find Confessions, you'll hear all about it. That's when I had confessed to some of the things that I was doing. I mean, that was just real. I mean, women go... I guess men do too. But I know for me at that time, I didn't know how to handle that breakup. And I was like, well, if I can keep seeing people, I'll be okay. I'll get through it. Let me just keep seeing people. Well, I kept seeing people from 2009 to 2013. For the most part, though, I was not having sex with everybody, okay? I want to make that clear. I had a crew that I called Old Faithfuls because they did what I wanted them to do. And they did it how I told them to do it. And there was no strings attached, no emotional strings attached. And all I had to do is, let them set up a time. And I tell them the place and stuff. I tell them the place and stuff where I wanted to go. And, that's what we did. And I had things my way. Like, when I would leave from there, I felt so empowered. It really wasn't, though. But my shallow mind back then felt so empowered, and that's what kept me going. It kept me going. And then in 2013, that's when I met the guy that I ended up in the situationship. And that's what actually broke that streak, was because he was showing me so much love that I had never showed myself before. And I was like, wow, I've never felt like this before. And truly, I had never felt like that before. And I started getting to know God more. If that guy had not really... If I had not been really drawn to him, I don't know what it was about him. But with him, he was the first guy I ever dated that had been in a church, for one thing. And so when I started talking to him, like every day and stuff just started changing, because he was in the church and, going to church, and, I was learning how to treat people, watching him, how he treat people. Instead of me being the mean, tough core woman that I was being, here was a gentle, humble guy. He was humble. Covert narcissist in the end, though, but he was humble. He was humble and charming. But he turned out to be a covert narcissist. But he was so charming, and he played that role until I was like, yeah, it feels good on this side. And that's when I started really, he drew me to the Lord for real. He drew me to the Lord, closer to God. Even though he meant it to be satisfying for him, what ended up happening was I was drawn closer to God by watching him. And I was like, wow. And I started learning more and more about God. And then that's when, things started changing for me. But like I said in the beginning, God don't change everything all at one time. And there are some of us women out here who are walking around with these dominant traits. And we think that we are doing something. We think that we are really protecting ourselves. But really, we're not protecting ourselves. We're training ourselves to be weak. Because you can be dominant all day long, but if you don't know how to deal with people that are out of your control, because you can't control people. If you don't know how to deal with situations and stuff that you can't control, then you're weak. I was weak back then. That's why I used what I had to, get by. I was weak. Because I lost my control over him. When I caught him with that other woman, I lost my control. I lost the power that I had over him. And back then, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't see it like that. I did not see it like that. It take God to open your eyes to see stuff like that. I didn't see that I was so controlling and stuff like that. But I really was. And I would always hear my family members say it, but, it never registered to me. But I was living out of a defensive, that was my defense mode, my survival mode. That's how I survived. But now that I know better, I don't want to be like that. I want a man that, when we look at each other, he know I got that look in my eye. He know he got that look in his eye. He like, come on, baby, let's go. And we go have ourselves a good time. I want my lifelong partner. I'm not about jumping from guy to guy now and stuff like that. But I know the dating process does call for me to be out there and to be, be reachable, be able to talk to, be able to sit there and discern, things that people are saying. So I do know that is part of it. But also working on my dominant traits and knowing that I don't have to always be so dominant in everything that I do. Like, you got to leave room for failure, folks, okay? I didn't always leave room for failure. Because I wanted everything to be perfect, and it had to be perfect or else it would just tear my nerves up. Because I was somewhat a perfectionist too, That's why they would always call me Miss Goody Two Shoes. But now, I guess I kind of had some OCD because I know I had anxieties and stuff back then too. But now I can sit around, if I see some trash somewhere, I don't lose my mind over it or anything. If I see people, not wearing something I would like to wear, I don't lose my mind over it or anything. I don't gossip about them or anything. I just let people be people now. And I stay in my lane. But having said all this, dominant females out here, we only exist because of what we went through, because of the weight we had to carry. We only exist because when nobody else was there for us, we were there for us. That's why we exist. That's why we have these traits. Yes, we are strong. Yes, we can do this and we can do that. But every once in a while, we got to let somebody come in and help us. Help us. Even though you can do it, don't mean you got to prove it. Don't mean you got to keep, that's how we wear ourselves out. That's why we weak, because we don't know when to stop. We don't know when to let somebody else help us. And, that's bad. That's bad. It took me all these years to realize that I don't have to do it on my own. I would be so dominant to the point where I'd be like, nah, you keep your money. And later I would find out that was just actually being stupid. Especially if a bill was due and here I was telling the dude to keep his money. Oh, no, that won't happen again. The bedroom. I guess I'm actually glad that I didn't have all that sex, though, because just imagine. Because every time you have sex, whether it's with somebody you know or you don't know, it messes with your emotions and your hormones and all that stuff. So I'm glad that I did. Now, that part I'm glad I was really safe about. I was really safe about that. And I used to get called stuck up booty, but that's okay. That's okay. At least I won't giving it up like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty good with that. But yeah, when I think about it, dominant women just, we want all this control. But at the end of the day, that control turns out to be devilish, devilment. It's an assignment that the enemy sends. The enemy sends these feelings of control to us so that we can try to control people that God has freed, that Jesus died for. He freed them. So we ain't got no business trying to control somebody's mind, tell them what to do and stuff. unless they want us to. Now listen. Now there are some relationships like that where like maybe if they get in the bedroom, they have role play and all that good stuff. So I don't. That's between the couples if that's what the couple want to do. But when it come down to y'all ain't discuss nothing, and this is just your personality. This is just how you showing up on the scene. I want what I want when I want. If that's how you just showing up now, that's nothing but devilment right there. But now, if you're in good standing, and y'all are being yourself, nobody's overpowering the other. You're just loving on one another and doing what it takes to survive in this mean old world. And all of a sudden, you get in the bedroom and you want to play role play, and you be like, well, she can do this. The man gives permission to do certain things. Then that's a different story for couples. I think that's beautiful. I think role play is a beautiful thing. I would like to do that when I get married, but I would have to be married to go into doing that kind of stuff. Like my dating now is, matter of fact, I may do another podcast on this about dating and sex, because right now sex is not on my mind right now. Right now what's on my mind is stability. I was telling that guy last night, I said, I noticed that my emergency contacts always have my kid's name on it. I said, well, I would love for that to change one day when, like, I get with my husband and, I just always thought it was a beautiful thing, I've always been a hopeless romantic, but, every now and then it gets pushed down or suppressed and stuff. But I thank God that I'm opening up now and that I can release these feelings and stuff, and so much that I've been through, and just to be able to talk about it and not be shamed of where I come from, because I think that's a big thing in it. When you hold that shame and condemnation over yourself, then you don't allow yourself to be freed. And because I'm free, because I know who God is now, I'm not intimidated by what I say or how people interpret it. I really am not. At this point, I do care about you, but I don't care about your opinions, okay? I can love you and not love your opinions. So that's where I'm at in life now. And I just had to be real with not only me, but with y'all as well, because this is an example of how God would take stuff like that that's been in your life, that's been hiding inside of you. Like, I didn't realize the controlling factor was hidden inside of me until I started realizing when I don't get my way, I will pout too. And I had to start telling myself the pouting season is over. You got to come up out of that. You can't be running around here, trying to be an example to your granddaughters, and you sitting up here pouting, then they going to be pouting with their men. Then you just going to set off a trigger of generational failure. Because you won't take time to come up out of your mess right now. So that's what I'm doing now, is I'm getting myself fixed. I'm letting God, use this situation for y'all to hear too. I mean, that's how he gave it to me, But I do know that I want to someday be a wife, and I do want to have that good sex in the bedroom. Yes, I do. But with my husband. I don't just want anybody man. I want my husband. That's who I'm waiting on, my husband. And I'm going to tell y'all something too. Those guys that be in y'all ears, single ladies, talking about, well, we all grown and, how they be saying it? Let me see. With the online dating thing, I've had guys tell me that we're all grown and, a man got needs. And I tell them, so what? I hate to be like that, but what are you saying? If you know you got needs, what are you telling me for? Because I'm not looking just to supply needs, And so a lot of times that's why a guy wants a woman. That's why they go online so they can hunt women down, and women do the same thing. So you got to be careful out here that you're not just out here selling yourself short. When I get those guys that talk like that, I'm like one and gone. Because you've already told me what you about. You about sex. And that doesn't fit my belief system and my core values and who I want in my life right now. I don't want somebody who just want to have sex or just talk about sex. Only time you get excited or engaged as when we're talking about sex? No. Can we talk about some boring stuff and we still be engaged and excited? You know, listen, y'all, I'm going to have to come back on here. I'm going to come back on, okay? So y'all go like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to come back and we're going to talk some more about this. But I need to stop this broadcast right now before it goes over the time. All right, peace.